There you go. Welcome, everyone, for another fun-filled episode this week on Continual Shift, Canada Startup. And welcome to all our friends from Lead Pedal Radio. I'm here, as usual, with my buddy Dave Rogers. I'm Bill Wilson, and we're looking forward to another fun week of fun-filled discussion. How are you doing, Dave?
Very well, Bill. Hope you're doing well. I know you've been running around, lots of things on the go. Let's start off with a very simple question. What was a business highlight for you this week? It could be a personal one or something you saw on TV. Anything that happened in the business world for you?
A couple. Well, the one that I guess first and foremost, I'd like to understand a little bit more about Richard Branson and his flight. And then the other thing with our Shopify store, I know we're starting to get some good leads and some good opportunities from that. More on the B2B side or business to business side. Retail is a little on the slow side right now, but no, a lot of positives there. So, but I am curious about that flight.
Well, it was a flight that Richard Branson has been storytelling for decades. And it was incredibly choreographed and set up because he is such an amazing PR, public relations guy, and just the enthusiasm. He could bottle it and sell it. But it's been a long time coming, and he's been selling these trips for about $250,000, and about 650 people have paid their deposits already for it. And
Wow.
So he definitely found out there was some demand. He created a special purpose acquisition corp. We've been talking about those on this channel, SPACs. And the one that he's did here is called SPCE. Incredibly volatile. I think it hit the high sort of this morning or yesterday morning in the 50s. And then throughout the day, it's been selling off because while people can get enthusiastic and see how great the experience is, the business model behind it is still a little fuzzy for people. But it's a stock that started out at $10 last year and went and had incredible gyrations, got involved with some of the Wall Street bets people, and it's been shorted a lot, and it's been a stock that has been quite a adventure and journey, very much like Richard Branson's business entrepreneur journey.
I think it wouldn't be right if it was anything less.
His books are great. Again, for any entrepreneurs starting out, I really encourage people to take a look at it or audiobook because it gives the insights of a real, true innovator. The funny thing is in the past year, he's really had a difficult time. I think he had to let a number of his companies go bankrupt in Australia, which again is something that as you do business, different types of business, sometimes you've got to let some of your companies go, and that's one of the things that I believe Virgin Air, like his airline in Australia, went down. Well, we could do a little bit more research and report on that next week. But yeah, it's in a business. It's that outer space travel. It's going to be commercialized, and if you want to check out the ticker SPCE. And check that on Yahoo, and you could see some of the financials. And the young guys, Justin and my nephew, invested in it last year and enjoyed the $12 to $18 to $11 to $23, and very volatile and quite a trading stock. So that's a little bit about Branson's adventure with that product. And we'll see what happens. But there was a bit of a battle between him and Bezos to see who was going to be first. And then there's nuances on whether it's really outer space or it's just close to outer space. And so it was kept to be very friendly feud, but he definitely pushed it to try to get to be the first person up there in his 70s. So anyone who might be listening today or watching and saying you're too old, Branson can be a good inspiration to do some things beyond age 40, 50, 60, 70. So something for you and I to think about also.
Yeah, definitely. Would you go though?
Would I go?
Yeah.
again, I to be honest with you, I think it's like only 15, 20 minutes. So
Oh yeah,
I don't think I would go into my own cash and pay for it. Yet if
yeah.
we did a proper deal and we wanted to arrange it and that got done, I do have a couple of friends who have booked it up and
Oh
they're on
wow.
the list. And I think one guy's on number 73 on the list. And
Oh
I won't
wow.
be surprised within this year or early next year he does that experience. And that's the type of flamboyancy that
Yeah,
he
yeah,
is, and it's great. I think there's definitely some people have these big, hairy, audacious goals, a word that
yeah,
we've used a little bit, BHAG, and
yeah, yeah,
that's something that perhaps even here we can stir that up a little bit more to if we get a little
yeah,
bit if we're feeling that life is a little boring and that we don't have much excitement, we can stir in a few BHAGs in there to
yeah.
do some really cool stuff. But I'm aware that you've got a whole list of trips you want to do with Disney. Uh,
Yes.
by the way, Disney hit a high yesterday. Uh,
Awesome.
their latest movie had record sales. They did over 60 million through Disney Channel this weekend, and they just cranked up their prices up $1 a month
Yeah.
because it's just so popular right now. And they were
Yes.
selling this movie. I think Black Widow was the name of the
Black Widow.
movie.
Yeah.
30 bucks. And so if you think about watching a new release in your own house with your own popcorn for 30 bucks, you just more than one of you is it's a great deal, right?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I look back for the days when the VCRs and Betamaxes were the new thing for us. You remember those days?
Absolutely.
And you had to pay a membership for a video store, and then you still paid for the rental on top of that. And if I remember correctly, we had to pay about 20 or 30 bucks to rent a movie. So like all I see is it's the same basic model, but I guess digitalized or something like that, right? But hey, it works. I mean, we've all done it at one time or another. A pay-per-view wrestling match or a UFC fight or something like that. We've all subscribed and paid and done the model, so it works obviously. So
Well, that's
yeah, very
let's
cool.
do that because you just had sort of yours. The business highlight was the Branson, and yeah, listening
Yeah,
to Branson, you see a huge amount of respect, gratitude, sharing the success, and then we can flip the channel. Which, using the metaphor, what about the UFC? Did you happen to catch what happened with the UFC this past weekend?
well, I heard. I didn't see all the highlights, but I did hear that McGregor broke his ankle. I guess the guy fascinates me. The fact that he's down, he's lost, his ankle is broken, but he still has the nerve to chirp the guy. To give him the
Big
trash
time
talk
chirping.
and
Yeah,
everything. Yeah,
big time chirping, big time trash talking. In fact, in many ways, he crossed over the barrier of what is even human decency. And it is quite fascinating that ESPN, which again is part of Disney, has
yeah,
recently had a big deal with the UFC. And the big thing is that ESPN does have that Disney network, and
yes,
when they're bringing in quite a few of these folks from the UFC who happen to use the F word every third word, it
yeah.
that bleep 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 is quite a challenge for ESPN. So again, you're more in a line with me. Is that you're not going to take it that angrily. Yet,
No.
what is your view of extreme chirping, where it becomes it becomes almost illegal because some of the things he was saying, he was threatening somebody's life and threatening somebody's wife, and
Yeah.
it's it. Where do you come down on that?
I mean, there's the fun part of the game. I mean, there's obviously the stuff where you try to get in your rival's head, that sort of thing. There's that, and you do little bits and things, but that's there. There's a fun aspect and obviously there's a psychological aspect to win the game or whatever you're trying to win the negotiation, that sort of thing from the business perspective. But you keep it's between me and you, and that's it. Like you don't go and start insulting somebody's mother. Like that just goes too far. um
So
and
yeah,
that's not worth. I don't agree with any of that. I think it's wrong. I think you're lowering yourself. Um, you're just, I don't know. To me, you shouldn't be part of the group that's, whether it's the business team, the sports team, or whatever. You're not part of it when you start to do that sort of thing. I don't agree going that far.
Mm. And that's the funny thing, or I don't know, the word's not funny. The ironic is that in many ways he got to the highest level. He is the biggest star in the business, even though he doesn't even have the top talent anymore.
Right.
And he has done things that have gone over the barrier. He went after Khabib with religion and his wife and his father. He went and attacked a bus, hurting people, breaking a window, assaulting people. So it's and now this one. It's sort of
Yeah.
like the three strikes, and so yet he's dangling his $100 million or his $150 million, and in some ways he's showing a pattern that perhaps this is the way you have to stand out these days. And in fact, that's what's happening with a lot of social media phenoms, is that they do things that you and I might feel that are be over the line, and
Yeah.
they're then sort of sitting there after, or they're over the line with their millions, sort of laughing at us. And
Yeah.
so that's a little bit of what I'm noticing. And I was just curious
Yeah.
what you feel or think about that.
Yeah, and I don't know, man. Sometimes it's like what goes around comes around. You're doing this all now while you think you're on the top, but there's one day somebody's going to come and, take your throne right from under you, and you're going to lose everything.
Well, that's the irony, is that Dustin, again, traditionally has shown incredible um, professionalism,
Yeah.
and again did use the word karma. Again, Connor during the buzz up to get the pay per view, he was saying, "Oh, you're going out on a stretcher. You're going out on a stretcher," and whoop, within 24 hours, karma.
Yeah.
Connor was going out on a stretcher,
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Well, I
that is something that tends to happen, is that what you focus on, you're going to get, yet you don't necessarily get it in the condition or the circumstances you wanted it.
yeah. 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 No,
Uh,
I just sort of look at a lot of the great sport that athletes, well, first off and foremost, I'm going to think Gretzky, a true ambassador from start to finish, and he still is. I mean, don't get me wrong, he probably chirped just as much as the next guy and had his trash talking, but it was within the game.
Gordie Howe?
And Gordie Howe, well, I think he spoke with his elbows more than anything. But I'm sure he had his things here and there. But no,
But
he
still an
would have two
ambassador.
points.
For
Yes,
us, he was an
definitely.
ambassador. We actually brought him over
Yes,
to Hong Kong. A group of friends, they brought Colleen and Gordie over to Hong Kong, and again, a true ambassador, a
yes,
gentleman, welcomed young ones, seniors, and it just displayed a gentlemanship that was incredible.
yeah. And it's within. He's outside the rink, and he's showing good respect and all that sort of thing. It's when you're within the confines of, I guess, where your business is being conducted, whether it be in the octagon or the squared circle or the rink or whatever it may be, everything stays in there. You don't go attacking buses and all that stuff afterwards.
All right. Well, this conversation has led to perhaps the tip of the night. Anyone who watches this, or again, even Bill and your business partner. Today, it was great to see Elon Musk coming out of court because he was being sued for the way he allowed Tesla to buy Solar City. Yet he was asked about why he tweets and why he does that. And his response was quite fascinating. He said, the amount of PR, publicity, the amount of media, the amount of social media I get from a tweet, Tesla's budget for media isn't that high. And so when he makes these tweets and he talks about Dogecoin, or he talks about different types of things in social media, and he gets hundreds of thousands and millions of people retweeting it and focusing on Tesla and keeping Tesla top of mind. That's something that Elon Musk said today, that it's one of his secret sauces to get incredible media for the Tesla brand. And so something for you to consider, that in the buildup of your business, is that if the team has some different types of handles or different types of tweets or different types of products that you can use and that you can promote and you can share, and they can go viral. And that's a little bit what TikTok's been able to do, is it could be a fun thing for you and the team to perhaps infuse ideas there that could add incredible value, which is a little bit different than traditional marketing or PR.
Yes. Oh, definitely. Definitely. Yeah. I guess one thing I would be curious about is what investment did he have to make ahead of time? Like, obviously Elon Musk, we know him. He's got a bit of a background and a reputation behind him already. What investment did he do before that? Because obviously there's a huge cost to get there, and then once you get there, I guess you have the opportunities. So as a newbie or somebody that's starting out, it's not like you're going to make a tweet tomorrow and all of a sudden be in the ranks of Elon Musk. And it's just, I guess, understanding what efforts you're going to have to do to earn that whole know, like, trust thing with your audience.
The invitation is that you can be creative in your ways of talking about almost anything, and I think he does have a quirkiness that has been popularized to a point where, again, 2 years ago his business was almost bankrupt,
right?
And he made a series of tweets that were even troublesome to the Securities Exchange, the SEC. Yet he was able to surf the waves. And I think that's what's fascinating, is that in some of the things that you are doing with Shopify, with the different partners at Shopify, it might be fascinating for you to, again, talk with Jacqueline and explore some way out there outrageous ideas that could be part of the business plan. Yet that really is. And in the book Entrepreneur X Factor, we actually talked about your baseline strategy, your stretch strategy, and your grand slam. And so some of your grand slams could be partners that you could be partnering with, or products that you could be delivering. As we move into Tilray's, a Canadian company that started out strictly as cannabis, but now they're doing a lot of medical cannabis in the UK because they just bought a company, and they are now getting into the drinks. And so it's going to be cannabis-infused drinks. And Canada is probably going to be one of the first places that test markets these cannabis drinks. And so that is a whole new market that we're going to start really seeing in the next, I don't know whether it's 3 months, 6 months, or 12 months. Yet, I don't know, maybe there's some possibilities that in some of your baskets, it could include some of those type of uplifting products and services. So, and that's something that, again, you may be able to collaborate with somebody who wants to do that for their clients, because that's something that they're into, or they're taking the medical component to it, or medical side to it, or pain management side. So there's a lot of barriers right now that are being broken, and our traditional way of looking at it might hold us back, as opposed to Elon's nonlinear approach that gets him in trouble. Yet, I guess the fine he might get for today's court case is $2 billion, and someone said he's got 180 billion. 2 billion ain't going to be much, but it's more of the principle that he's defending, that he didn't do anything illegal, and he actually recused himself from some of the negotiations. Yet it's we'll see what happens. Yet it's another thing that he's actually happy and promoting it, and appeared in person and created a bit of a buzz around it, so that both Solar City and Tesla and their capacity and capabilities are in the news, front line.
Yeah.
He couldn't pay for that type of news.
No, no. I mean, so even if you looked at the 2 billion, the amount of coverage that's going to be on that, it's probably well worth. It costs a lot more than that.
So, yeah. So
Yeah.
that was a nice little zigzag in the business area because, as Bill alluded, we represent Continual Shift and Canada Startup. Which Canada Startup we really focus on three components: financial literacy. We talk about wellness and mental health, and then we talk about social entrepreneurship. So today we started with the business side. Let's move to the next little area of wellness learnings this week, Bill. What type of wellness learnings did you have?
One thing that I'm really gathering over the last little while is just the importance of sleep. That for me, and I'm finding it for even elder care, that getting that amount of sleep at night uninterrupted, but also being not being afraid or accepting that, you know what, it's okay to take a nap. And if you have to take multiple naps, well, so be it. That's probably one of the big things I've learned over the last week. Like for myself, I've enjoyed taking naps, but I've just noticed last little while sometimes that um, that hour-long nap is not a bad thing.
Uh, and I'm inviting you, if you haven't done some research on it, it's absolutely fascinating, Bill. The one who really brought it into people's consciousness was the lady Ariana Huntington, I believe, or
Huffington
yeah,
Post.
yeah. So
Okay.
Ariana Huffington had terrible insomnia, and so she went and did a lot of research into it and brought it mainstream. So before that, a lot of people didn't want to talk too much about the effects of lack of sleep or bad quality sleep,
Mhm.
insomnia. And Ariana Huffington came out and shared it and made it relevant. I think she wrote a book on it, and it's something that it changes our sleeping patterns change just like us.
Yes.
Like as a child,
Yeah.
just think about as a baby, and then as a youth, and going through it, and then the years in 20s where we deprive ourselves of sleep when we work crazy hours. Yet,
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
as we get into our ages and our parents' age, really encouraging the naps is really useful for
Mhm.
both generations. And
Yeah.
the night sleep, whether some people will reduce the amount, so they might go from 6 to 5. Yet if you supplement that with 2 hours or 40 minutes of good quality napping, it really can add to quality of life. And so, absolutely, definitely encourage you to, if you want to do a little more research, and we have a follow-up session on it. When I had my biggest challenges in life at age 27, it was related to insomnia and not being able to sleep. And I almost died because I couldn't sleep, and it was
Oh,
really
wow.
brutal. And so
Yeah.
sleeping disorders really are a topic I love to talk about, just because it does take some creativity and some curiosity and some discipline to find ways to find your winning strategy. Because the
Mhm.
people that are going to be suffering from it, they're going to tell you, "Oh, I've tried everything." Well, I don't think you've tried everything. But if you tell me that you've tried everything, then you're not necessarily willing to be curious to go continue to experiment.
Yeah. Right. Right.
And
Yeah.
some of the experiments right now are quite fascinating. So there are different types of meditation. There's different types of music. There's different types of sounds of nature. There's different types of ceremony. There's different types of again, I don't necessarily go there. There's a place here for different types of medication. And I love aromatherapy, lavender, different types of aromas will induce sleep. And so, yeah, there's a whole science and art around finding a way to sleep well. And a part of it is, big part of it is your self dialogue.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
You
Yeah.
remember those nights where you're rolling around? It's, oh, I can't sleep. Oh, I got a meeting tomorrow. Oh, I'm not going to be able to do it. And for like 3 hours, you're fighting and your tensions,
Yes.
and it's just like you're just rolling and rolling and rolling, and that's that strategy that someone says, "I've tried everything." Okay, so that's
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, that's a great one. So wellness learnings this week is about sleeping and the importance of naps. If anyone agrees with that one, throw a thumbs up, because napping for me has just absolutely been so important in the
Yes.
past year. This past week, I had food poisoning, and
Oh,
so
geez.
3 days I was cold sweats and hot and having a really great time. I dropped, I think, about 5 or 6 pounds,
Oh, geez.
and it was quite fascinating, because I decided to really use meditation this time, and to use different types of mantras, and it was really, I don't know how weird it sounds, yet I actually really enjoyed the process, because I
All
really
right.
felt I detoxed.
Uh-huh.
Um, I am one of these guys who actually has paid to go for like a 48-hour or 72-hour 4-day detox in Thailand. Paid like 4 or 5 figures to go to that, and I said, "Oh, I got a good deal on this one." So I was laughing the whole time, because I was saying,
Yeah.
a really good homemade detox, and but I slept a lot, 17, 18
Yeah.
hours for 2 or 3 days, and um, wasn't able to move too far from the facilities,
Yeah.
and really felt the intestines really got a good clear out and cleanse. So
Ah.
I'm feeling I'm still probably about 85% now. But it
Oh,
was
yeah.
it started last Tuesday, right after our call, actually.
Oh, geez.
So yeah, so that for me, it was really about going back to water, going back to chicken
Hmm.
soup, going back to vegetable soup, going back to some fruit, and then really allowing and inviting the body to really heal itself.
Yes.
And that was it was quite an adventure last week. So I'm really grateful for that wellness learning, is going back to some real simple approaches to
Yes.
personal self-care.
Hmm. No, I like the fact that, the simplicity of what you were saying. Um, I think I'm on the same page as you, avoiding. Um, I try to look for more natural ways to get through things, whether it be, like you say, having a couple extra naps, having a good sleep at night, drinking water, that sort of thing. Trying to stick to those things as opposed to buying the quick cure over the counter. I try to stay away from all that stuff.
Well, let's move to number three. I think we've had some good experiences now with the mental side, and I wanted to bring up a session I did on the weekend with a wonderful gentleman, Bob Galetta from the States, and this is lessons from Voice of Men 360, which happened this past week, and Bob has a very colorful background where one of the highlights is his father killed his mother when he was 10. He lived with the trauma of that led to him being imprisoned dozens of times. I think he said 40 or 50 times. Addictions
Wow.
drugs, to alcohol, to sex, to violence, to an inner hatred, that number of suicide attempts, and a real self-loathing. And this goes back to the work that we did with trauma with Gabor.
Okay.
That he just had this inner distaste and hate for himself, and I wanted to bring it up because not only was it a great opportunity to meet somebody who's so passionate now, and he made a shift about 7 years ago, and I wanted to highlight it today and invite. I'll put the link to people who want to see the entire interview, and to even reach out to Bob, because he's running sessions on Clubhouse, and he's really now into personal development and helping others and of service. And so I really wanted to share a little bit of that with you today, to get a couple of insights, because this past week I've also noticed that, again, men's challenges don't seem to be getting easier right now.
Not at all.
They're getting more complex or more challenging. So I just thought we'd share a little bit about men's ways of dealing with challenges, and highlighting some of the things that Bob talked about, but also some of the things that I've learned from particularly from Anthony Robbins, when I spent quite a bit of time studying and reading his books, but
Mhm.
also visiting and going on a number of his programs to learn about leadership and learning about psychology and performance. And so when you think of men going through challenges of life, what would be one or two or three of the main challenges you think that men are facing?
Probably one of the bigger ones is internalizing everything, not sharing, and trying to solve it on your own, um, not showing any emotions, holding everything in. So because we've been taught that that's what it is to be a man. Um, I would say that's probably what the major things out there. Um,
When in the Voice of Men 360, a lot of it is about assisting men to develop the skills of communication. The way that most men have been taught is you do, like you just said, you keep it in. You don't share personal things. You don't cry. You don't
mhm.
you suck it up
Yeah.
and stiff upper lip, and that's not working.
No.
We're finding that more and more men are committing suicide. I think you're aware of that, and that Bob was very adamant that violence and not knowing how to deal with it, frustration,
Hmm.
and
Hmm.
just having such a short fuse, because that frustration, that road rage, is not even about the outside; it's about the reaction to the inside. And
Yeah.
so that's it can be taught, and some of the things I guess we want to share even today is just maybe one or two or three things that can help men go through and to perhaps reach out, like the fact that we're even mentioning Voice of Men 360. If anyone there today has a friend or a male uh, partner, or if you're a female and you want to help women, check out Voice of Men 360, and there's opportunities to listen to shows, to be part of shows, to share skills, to perhaps be part of workshops that can assist better communication for men. Uh,
Hmm. Hmm.
it's something that even us having this conversation, it's a little different. It's not typical, and it's it's authentic though. It's genuine.
Yeah.
Um,
Definitely.
would you have some insights or your favorite approaches to assist men, like um, who might be having a tough time? Have you had to talk through with friends who did reach out or were suicidal or any type of problems they're having that you found to be useful to deal with other people's challenges or even dealing with your own challenges?
Yeah, I've never had to deal with anything to any of those extents. Um, I guess the one thing that I find helpful for myself, um, you don't have to. I don't have to go into all the detail, but just sort of throw a bit out there of what's going on and share, um, and enough that might somewhere along the way I might find the resource that I need to get me to that next level of sharing, and so on and so forth like that. So it's not like you have to take the whole box and throw everything out all at once. It's just take a little bit, share that, and share it with your friends. And you never know who might have that thing that says, "Hey, you know what? Is this what you're going through?" And if you say yes, then they might have a key contact that, hey, I have a friend that does this that might be able to help you, and then you can get an introduction and so on and so forth. So not holding everything in, just let out little bits at a time, and then eventually the whole story will be out there, and by then I'll be comfortable enough to share the whole story, and then it takes even to um, other levels.
So I'm hearing this great concept, Bill, is ask for help is
Yeah.
a tip, is just ask, like, and you can make it fun. Like I would invite you to infuse something unique. You could go and ask, like, instead of going out these days, going for a beer might be great. going for a
Yeah.
walk in the park, or going to a pond, or go somewhere, and you can actually do something a little unique in honor of yourself, of asking for help.
Right.
And I want to give a twist to it, because just imagine one of your friends came to you and asked for help. How would you feel?
Yeah, actually, it makes me feel it's uplifting.
So, folks, give someone else the gift of feeling uplifted, that you cared enough about their friendship that you were willing to ask for help. That's the funny, ironic item about asking for help, is that if your friend was in trouble, would you help your friend? Absolutely, right, Bill? 100%.
Definitely. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yet maybe in the past you haven't given your friends the honor of helping you. And so that's the juxtaposition that I'm inviting people to hear today, is that perhaps it might be the greatest honoring of a friend for you to actually ask for some help.
Yeah.
And that's what I believe could be pretty cool. Number two, I just want to come up with this: stop the blaming. If you're in the blame game, stop it.
Yes.
Just that, for your own head, is one of the worst things you can do to your head, is blame, 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 blame.
Hmm.
And so if you notice that you're blaming, making excuses, stop it. Just as
Yeah.
an experiment for the next 24 hours, 48 hours, 72 hours, catch yourself before you
Yeah.
blame others, and start seeing it from a different perspective.
Yes.
Does that make any sense, Bill?
Totally.
Yeah.
Totally.
You want to pick up on it
Yeah.
at all? Have you got like something you want to add to that little concept?
I find the blaming thing, I just see it as all that energy that you're putting in to find something, somebody or someone or something to blame, um, and the excuses that go along with it. Look at it from another perspective and figure out, what can I look for solutions? What can I look for help? What can I look for? I don't know, whatever is going to take me to move forward in a positive manner. That's what I'd rather put the energy there, instead of saying, whatever the blame may be. I just find it a waste of energy.
So what Bill's doing there is he's doing a great coaching technique there. He's asking a better question. He's asking a question to shift your focus to perhaps develop a strategy to move forward, instead of staying stuck in the river ocean of blame. And so if you can experiment with that, folks, that's going to be really useful. When I was talking to Bob, because Bob was very open to be asked any question about anything. And so I wanted to ask him about what was the big shift for him, from going from being so angry to actually being kinder to himself. And what do you reckon it was?
I think he might have just got tired with it. I don't know.
Good, no, just good try. It when he really decided to embrace forgiveness. And so when you're talking about blame, there's no forgiveness often.
Right.
When you forgive, and so he forgave his father before his father died. And he, by forgiving his father, no, he didn't forgive his father's actions. You forgive the person, you don't necessarily forgive the actions. And so
Correct. Yeah.
he was adamant about those type of nuances, which again, it was very useful to actually see the process, to go from, how the hell could you forgive them? Because by not forgiving him, I live with it every day.
Right.
By forgiving him, I can then work on being a better person every day. And so,
Yes. Yes.
folks, if you're dealing with challenges, find a way to forgive. Now, there might be forgiving others, there might be forgiving yourself. That is going to be probably the biggest journey we have individually for the rest of our life.
Hmm.
And so, if we can become really aware of how important forgiveness is for our own happiness, for our own peace and harmony. Perhaps you might study this. Perhaps you might go and ask 10 people, how'd you forgive them? How'd you forgive them? Like, we'll be curious about it. I've got a quote here. It's like, I wanted to bring a little humor in today's session. It's like, always forgive your enemies. Nothing annoys them so much. And that's by Oscar Wilde. And so if you take 10 quotes on forgiveness, that will give you 10 new points on ways to forgive. And
Definitely.
perhaps there's somebody today who watches this video that can help. Yet, if you're going to hold on to it, it's like holding on to something that just eats yourself up.
Yes.
And the next point that Bob was sort of sharing is the way that he working on that forgiveness was such a key component, because there is the slippage and there's the day-to-day records, and there's re-engineering your psychology and your physiology and your word patterns, and it's like letting go of so much of the old life that he had as a mafia kid, as a addicted druggie, and again, as a partier. Like, he just had such a great time partying, because he was party, and then he'd fight, and then he'd go to jail. And it was this record, that the self-loathing, yet he was able to come up with the forgiveness led to a real sense of gratitude. Because when you can forgive the people who did the things, you can get a gratitude that you've actually gone through it. And then you have this widened level of empathy, awareness, and experience that you can just bathe in gratitude.
Yeah.
And so it's that bathing of gratitude that can really then tap into what you've been alluding to, Bill, is that the curiosity, the innovation, the experiments, the all the newness that comes into play when you choose to be grateful.
Yes.
And so, and then the last point, which was very cool, because it's something that we've talked about too here, is his life took a whole new level. So he went from sort of in the pit, the step out was forgiveness, into gratitude, step up into service. And when he started serving others, and this is the big thing that he is really pointing out, is that part of the walkway into a better life is, no matter where you are, you can be of service to others.
Yes.
And that was, again, something that I wanted to share with you, and because that's what you're doing right now. You are being of service, and you're finding it to be, at some days, incredibly amazing, and other days exhausting.
Yes.
And other days troubling, and other days curious. And so these are expanding your awareness of your human emotions through service.
Yes. Definitely.
And so that's what I wanted to bring that in, is for any of our men out there who are dealing with challenges. I think Bill's shared a couple of really great ideas to start your journey in asking for help and discussing it, and to communicate it, and be nice to yourself.
Yes.
Because that's a big part, is that when you're expecting yourself to be expert at everything, well, this type of communication, you might not be an expert at it when you first start out. Give yourself
takes a while.
give yourself some kindness and some opportunities to even maybe say the wrong word.
Yeah.
Because in the past, it was all bottled down, and you might not even have the vocabulary to use yet.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. So when you think today of the insights for men dealing with challenges, Bill, is there sort of anything else that you might either want to ask or want to add?
I think one thing that I've been learning over and over and over again, I think we gotta learn, like you're just asking there, what kind of questions to ask, what are newer questions, what are better questions we can ask, and I think that will help in the sharing, and I think it will help move people to more positive levels. Absolutely.
The beauty of questions, and being a student of asking questions, and going and study the different types of questions, and there's open questions, there's closed questions, there's inspiring questions, there's actually questions that, like the Dickens process, Charles Dickens, There's questions that can actually increase the perception of pain, because you want to increase the perception so the person will actually be motivated to make the changes.
Right.
That's why they went back, and he had those experiences. And then he went forward. If he continues to do what he's doing, he's going to be alone. So you can do future pacing, or you can do redirecting. And so the asking questions, it really is something that can be learned, it can be developed, can be improved. And I have a feeling that if that becomes, as it has with you and I, it's been one of our great ways of having great conversations, is that both of us really enjoy asking questions. So inviting people today to maybe write down that as like, what can I do to ask better questions, and start with yourself. And what can you do to be kinder to yourself? What can you do to be a better health? What can you do to be friendlier? And these might be awkward or weird or quirky to ask, yet this is about redefining and re-engineering and restructuring word patterns that have never really been taught to us in school. Yet from my humble studies, it's one of the most important things you'll ever develop or learn, if you choose to. Otherwise, you're going to be living with pretty much the language of your parents or your siblings or your surroundings, which you can notice right away whether people have a nice, healthy, friendly self-dialogue or whether they're beating the heck out of themselves.
Very true. Very true.
So, no, it's thank you so much, Bill. It's been great today. I'm curious if you have any last little question or thought for any of it. We covered off the three main areas that Canada Startup is really looking to share, and this share about business, about mental wellness. Today we had a special session on infusing some of the learnings from Voice of Men 360. Folks, if you want to check out Voice of Men 360 on Facebook, check them out on YouTube, please do so. As part of Lead Pedal Radio, we are always looking for opportunities to connect with folks who might have interest to be interviewed or to have an opportunity to develop business opportunities. That's one of the things that Canada Startup does also, because we are also really about social entrepreneurship, and this is about being involved in business that's more than just making money. And that's one of the things that I'm pretty excited about continually sharing here in Canada, and have been quite active with that in a number of countries around the world.
Yes.
Anything else to bring our session to a close today, Bill?
No, another great one. Always love having our chats, but no, there's lots to learn today, and it was really good. Thank you.
All right. Well, thank you, Bill, and all the best. Have a great week ahead. Look forward to catching up soon, and we will see if we can make some money and get healthier and be of service.
Awesome. Thanks, Dave.
Right.
We'll see you soon.
Take care. Ciao for now.
You too. Thanks. Bye-bye.